God designed us just so differently. And women, first I want to just talk to women and know that 3 things I'd really like you to know about your man. And number 1, he's like a microwave in that he can be turned on really fast if he's like mine. And I would word it like this. This guy is like a Hot Pocket. He can go from frozen to cooked in 60 seconds.
Yeah, if that's how you want to put it, I guess you could say it that way. Yeah.
He's also turned on, your man is probably also turned on very visually. And thirdly, what fuels your man is your sexual desire for him. And Ashley could say to me one night, all I want is your body. And I would probably look at him and go, I'm going to punch you. That is so rude. I can't even believe you said that to me. But the opposite, if I said to him one night, all I want is your body, he would probably flex.
Probably, I would. Yeah.
And say, thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. The same thing, we just see it so differently, which is how God designed us. So now let's talk about those 3 things that I just mentioned very briefly and really unpack those. It's amazing when we think about how fast they are turned on. It's amazing to me how ready they are to have sex at any given time. And it's just so different for me. I remember early in our marriage when we would have a crazy work week, we would both be traveling and then see each other at the end of the day, and I would just want to unpack the day and see what went on in his life and just all the things. And what I realized is he would be listening to me, but not really listening. He would be thinking about the thing that was going to happen after the whole listening thing happened, and I could just see it in his eyes. And I just remember this is so different for me. And secondly, they're so visual. So visual. There are some days when I think his goal throughout the whole day is to see how many times he can see me naked in a span of one day. It never fails. He always knows when I'm taking a shower. It's like he has radar, and he always walks past in the morning and sees me taking a shower and just stops and pauses and then says,
We're already in it this deep. We're already in it this deep. You might as well, I guess.
good morning to me.
Yes. It's a good morning.
Every morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're just so different.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know about you, but has your husband ever gotten out of the shower and proudly stood in front of you and you've thought, I'm so glad I got to see all of that?
And doesn't that hurt our feelings, guys, a little bit, Thinking like just the way we're wired, they're just so different. Now, guys, if I asked you, do you want to see your wife naked? You'd be like, I hear shouts in the audience. I'm like, I'd see that all day, every day, right? And then they're just so different. I asked Jaime one time, have you ever just wanted to lust after seeing my body naked? And she said, no, not really. I was like, are you kidding me? The way we're so different in this regard, right?
Yeah.
So unbelievable.
And in all serious though, listen, I get women, I don't care who you are, we all have body issues, but you just have to know how God designed it as that our men are visual and they want to see you and cherish you just as God intended. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we first got married, I treated Ashley, and I'm super not proud of this, I treated him like there was something wrong with him. I treated him like he was broken. And what gets me now is, can you imagine what that did for his confidence? When he was just trying to be as God created him, and I treated him like he was broken. And it wasn't till I had this very profound moment when I realized God has designed him for a purpose, on purpose. And I cannot accept only the parts that I want. I have to accept all of him, which is what God wants me to do. So I had to embrace and honor our differences. And thirdly, if your husband does need to feel wanted and desired by you, and his sexuality is directly linked with his confidence. And if you give him confidence in the bedroom, I promise you he will have confidence in the boardroom.
Yeah, let me say that again, because I think that's really key for you ladies to hear. I promise you that, really, this is really big. And I say this because I don't think men sometimes know how to articulate this about ourselves, but when you affirm him sexually, I'm telling you, he has confidence in almost every area of his life. And the opposite is true as well, okay? So we have to understand these differences about each other. Now that's her talking to, ladies. Guys, I want to talk to you about how women are very, very different than how we see the world, okay? If we're microwaves, as my wife said, a hot pocket, okay, she can say that. If we're microwaves, what are they? Number one is women are more like a crockpot, okay? It takes a while for them to warm up. Number two is they're generally not turned on visually like us. They're turned on emotionally, really big to understand. And three is what fuels a woman is something called non-sexual affection. Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Let me just walk through each of these briefly. One, it took me so long to understand about Jaime that she's just not ready in a moment like I am. It's a little bit more of a slow cooker warm-up, right? Dr. Lehman wrote a book a long time ago, and he said sex starts in the kitchen. I mean, it's kind of like it starts throughout the day. And I know the way I was wired, and I would think, well, if she hasn't seen me all day long, why wouldn't she want a piece of this, right? I mean, why wouldn't she want, And it's just not how they're wired. And so I used to think, like, why put something in a slow cooker when you can microwave and it's just as good, And I just have got to see things more the way God designed her. What I learned about women, and really this learned about Jaime, was they're generally not turned on visually. We've talked about that a little bit. It's not that they don't appreciate your body, guys. That's just not really how God designed them as much. They're more turned on emotionally. So if they're a slow cooker that's turned on emotionally, what we have to think about, guys, is what are we putting in the slow cooker that's going to be cooking all day long, that's going to lead us to be connected later on, right? And what it is that you got to put in the slow cooker is non-sexual affection. Now, when I say that word, what do you guys think of? Sometimes our minds go blank, right? We're like, non-sexual affection. Does that mean, Ashley, don't start right with the boobs? Is that what that means? No, that's not what it means, all right? It's not what it means. There's so much more. Here, let me just tell you some things I wrote down. That means sitting down after work and talking to her and just listening to her, not trying to fix it, listening. It means trying to connect with her emotionally, right? It means sending her flowers, writing her a note that has nothing to do with sex, right? It's just a note about how much you love about her. It means calling her in the middle of the day for no other reason, just to check in on her. It means helping her around the house. I've learned about my wife, and I think so many women are this way, serving her around the house is sexy to her. And I've told this story before, but years ago this hit me so hard because, late at night, we were in bed, all the kids were in bed, and all of a sudden, like, things heated up in the bedroom, and Jaime initiated it, and I was like, whoa. I was like, what happened? Like, what got into you? And she said, well, do you remember after dinner, I didn't even have to ask you. You went over and you started unloading the dishwasher, and then you loaded the dishwasher, and I watched you, and I was so turned on. I thought that was so sexy. And I just looked at her, and I was like, are you telling me that cleaning out the dishwasher turns you on? Are you kidding me? That's foreign to me. And so now I'm like, I'll clean out the dishwasher all the time. I mean, I'll bang the dishes together so she knows something's going on over there, you know what I mean? Clang, clang. I'm like, if serving's sexy, I want to serve you all night long. Okay, that's what I want to do. I mean, this is how God designed us very, very differently. Now, the point is, men, don't miss the point. The point is embracing our differences. But if you don't embrace the differences, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Women, if you don't embrace the way God designed your man, women can treat men as broken. You say something like this, oh, why is he ready all the time? Every single time. It's like all the time. It's so visual. I think I married a pervert. No, you married a man. That's what happened. And listen, guys, if we don't understand women and how they're designed differently, you know what happens all the time? We treat them as objects. They just become a sexual conquest for us versus us emotionally connecting with them the way God designed it. We have to understand our differences. And remember, what we're both going towards is the same goal, intimacy.